This is a magical place. And for those of you, and I'm assuming I'm talking to the new docents, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And everybody wants to say that I'm a docent, but I was never a docent. I was always a volunteer. Well, I thought I had a someplace, but I lost it before I got here. I'm a volunteer. Why wasn't I a docent? Because I work full time. And it's pretty hard to come and do this job if you're working all day and you've got a family. But every chance we got, we came for a picnic. Okay, I want to tell you a little bit about how all this got started. If I can remember, I'm so excited about seeing everybody. I don't think I'm going to remember anything. Once upon a time, the little cabin, the Walker cabin, housed a family. Amazing how many kids lived in that house. I don't know where they all slept. But anyway, the Walker cabin, and when the Walkers decided to move away, they kind of turned the park over to the state. And when we first came, when my kids were growing up, and we first came to picnic here, there wasn't anything more here. The Oak of the Golden Dream was here. The Walker Cabin was here. This building did not exist. There were some trails. If you wanted to get over to the picnic area, you walked on the rocks. The bridge wasn't built when we first started to come, so we couldn't bring my mom for picnics until they built the bridge. She wasn't good about climbing across on the rocks. But it was always, my kids always enjoyed coming. And they did things that's not allowed now, because I have pictures of my boys climbing the trees. And I don't think you let kids climb the trees anymore. But it's always been a very special place. And when I live in the San Fernando Valley, I've never lived out here. And how did this all get started? I mean, today you are in training to become docents. How did the docents program get started? Well, there were a group of ladies, small group of ladies that lived in the San Fernando Valley and in Woodland Hills, and they belonged to the American Association of University Women. And if any of you have been in groups, belong to a group, you know that there's always some kind of a project that you want to have. You don't just socialize all the time, usually. So they were trying to decide what to do. And one of the ladies had come from up north in Menlo Park. And where she had lived, she could look down and she could see that there were kids participating in some kind of an outdoor activity. And so she stored this in her memory bank, and she and her husband moved down to Woodland Hills. And they decided that one day the ladies got together, what would they do as a project? Well, we can really thank them. You're here today because of those ladies. One of them made friends with someone who was in the county parks department. I don't know how they made their contacts, but they had the kind of contacts that achieve things. And that's always what you need when you want to create something new. So they were looking for a place. They wanted to do nature with kids. They thought kids should have the opportunity to learn about nature, to learn about those kinds of things, but they needed a place for it. And so somehow one of them got introduced to this site. Now at the time, this building didn't exist. The Walker Cabin was here. There was a picnic area. There were some trails, and that was about it. It was just a park. It was a park that you could come with your family and have a picnic and take some hikes if you wanted to. The water tower was there. You could do some hiking. But they did make some contacts. And gradually, I'm losing my train of thought. But it was, what they wanted was a nature study center. That was the primary purpose of the beginning of everything, was they wanted a nature study center where kids could learn about nature. And they didn't see anything where we lived in the San Fernando Valley, and so that's how it got started. So they were ambitious ladies, and we could be very grateful sitting here today thanking in our memory them, because they had contacts. They were able to get the county of Los Angeles. They were able to make those kind of contacts. And so they were finally able to persuade the county that they should build this building, because it didn't exist in the early days of the park. One of the people that was interesting in the beginning was Corita Kent. She had been a Catholic nun at Immaculate Heart University in Hollywood, and she had gone out of the nunnery, and she had gone on with her artwork and did seriographs. There's one here someplace. I never did actually see it, but I'm told it's here somewhere. But I have one in my room where I live. I look at it all the time, and it reminds me of this place and all of you, and what I wish I could still do, come every week and be a volunteer. But anyway, they had to raise money. You know, you always have to have money to do anything. So they raised money. They made good contacts. They finally were able to get the building under construction, but what were they going to do about the exhibits, the kinds of things they wanted kids to see? Well, Corita did the seriograph, and as I said, I've got one in my room where I live, and I look at it all the time. And I know there's one here someplace, and perhaps they've already showed it to you when you've taken a tour. If not, those who give the tours, be sure to show them the seriograph. And anyway, show it to them again so that they'll know what we talked about today. But that's how it all got started. And I think that the thing that has always impressed me is the idea that this was a beautiful location. This was really a lovely place. In the early days, when we first used to picnic here, before there was so much, when there weren't very many trails and you had to step on the rocks to get up to the picnic area, it was really a wonderful place to come. It was just very, very beautiful. You came in the spring and everything like it is right now. Everything was all green. That's what I noticed today, and I remarked as we were driving in that I always liked this time of year whenever I came to the Nature Center, because everything's so nice and green. And those of us that have lived here forever in this part of the world know that that green doesn't stay there very long. So I'm glad that the day that I came to visit you, it's all beautiful and green outside. So anyway, that's how it really got started, and they needed money, and one of the things was that Corita did the seriograph, and they were able to make $2,000 by selling it. And like I say, we all bought them. And mine is in my room where I live, and I look at it all the time. But I wouldn't be here today. At my stage of life, I'm almost 100. I'm going to be 98 pretty soon. And I wouldn't be here today to talk to you and still here and hugging and loving people and getting lots of hugs today if it weren't for the fact that this is a very special place. So you have chosen, those of you who are in training to be a docent, you have chosen a very special place to contribute your spare time that you want to contribute to the community. This is I can't tell you. And I'm sitting here right now looking around the room, and on the fringes are people that I have just cared about so much for so long, and it's so exciting to see today. You're going to make those kind of friendships because they're going to be people that share the same love of the outdoors. But the important thing to keep in your mind is that we're doing all this for kids. It's because, I'll tell you a story. I worked for many years at Grant High School. And one day I was driving a mom and her son back to the inner city. And as we were driving along, I said to the boy, what do you do when you get home? And he said, well, when I get home, we get in the house, and I put my books down on the floor, and I get down on the floor and do my homework. And I said, what are you getting on the floor for? Guess what? So if the bullets came through the house, he wouldn't get hit by the bullets. So a lot of times you see these busloads of kids come and you don't know where they live. That's just one instance where I know where a boy lived, where he wanted to do his homework, but he had to keep himself safe. And I think every time I was here volunteering and I would see the busload of kids, and I would know that some of them came from that kind of environment. And here they came out to this beautiful place, and especially this time of year. And I know that it was. I came one time with a group from the high school where I worked. We didn't come in a bus. We just toted them all here in our car, a special class, and we brought them out here. And some of those kids had never been out in the country before. So when you see that bus pull up from the inner city, and you see those kids getting out of the bus, just know in your mind that some of those kids, this is the first experience they have ever had to be out of the city, to not be afraid, to be able to enjoy, to look around, to see the scenery, and people with smiles on their faces that are happy to greet them. So that's about all I can tell you, but I think you've chosen a very good thing to donate your time to. I wish you the very best, and I hope that someday you'll be sitting in the wheelchair talking to the class and telling them about your experience. Could I answer any questions for you? I guess I covered everything. Oh, but it's been a pleasure to come back.
Let you know what kind of a lady Shirley has been, and a person, she would be in my office answering the phone. Was it Tuesdays that you were here every Tuesdays? Thursdays?
Yes,
Tuesdays? So she would always be on time, never late. She's just that type of person. But the most interesting person that I've ever met, probably in my entire career was the parks, has been Shirley. And the reason for me to say that is that, I have my own staff there in the office with 3-4 workers there. and then all of you, all the volunteers that participate here at Placerita. But Shirley, being a, oh, there's your badge. Being a school psychologist?
Yes.
Whenever, I mean, we would talk for hours because that is what, you could ask me anything about biology or science or anything, but psychological aspects of the human being, I'm a zero. And I ponder, I wonder, how about my employees, sometimes my docents. Shirley had everyone diagnosed. There wasn't a single volunteer that she had a diagnosis of this one individual, or everybody. She had my staff down, she had the docents down, and we wondered times, why does this person do this, or why does that person do this? Shirley had all the answers, and they were correct. They were the most, I judged by what she informs me of, and it was 100% correct. So it was a whole new aspect of being like a manager in a facility, to realize that everybody is an individual, everybody has their own problems, and you have to consider it that, not as a group, but as each individual. And I forever thank you for that, Shirley. It was we had some great times there.
I tell you, was a wonderful person to work with, and I enjoyed the experience so very, very much. Supportive. I always ordered lunch when he ordered his lunch. He always ordered some for me.
I thought that's at least what I could do for her. So I treated Shirley to lunch every time she was here.
When he wasn't here, I knew what his ideals were and made sure that we pursued those, even when he wasn't here watching us.
It's very interesting to have somebody as long as Shirley that's been here to see the development of the nature center, and like Jim has always stated, like a group of ladies came to the park and they used to work out of the back of their trunks and lead tours to this place called Placerita that nobody knew anything about. Maybe back in the 60s, 70s, maybe earlier than that. Yeah, pretty marvelous thing to think. So it does show how wonderful this place is. And biologically, here you have a creek running through it. You got riparian habitat. You got an oak woodlands habitat. You got chaparral habitat, all in one little location. And that, just to let you know, we used to have hundreds of Korean hikers out here. How bizarre is that, right? They were from Stevenson Ranch, they were from Koreatown, and this was their get-together place when I had the Canyon Trail open. So I would ask them, why do you like this place so much? Because I've never seen so many Asians coming out hiking. It's not a normal thing for the Asian culture to be out there. And they said, because it looks like Korea. So I guess this place looks like Korea to them. And so they remember their homeland, because they were from Korea. They were Korean born. And they just marveled over this place for what it had to offer. Now that the Canyon Trail's closed, they're gone. I haven't seen very many, maybe a small handful. Oh, okay. Okay, so because I'm not here on Saturdays.
Right, they're here on Saturdays.
Good. I'm glad we didn't lose them, because that's an interesting crowd. Yeah. But like Shirley said, we're all here really for the kids. I mean, if you think about it, that's where it started. And to this day, and that's why that school group is right next door right now in there. Very interesting. Shirley?
But I think the thing that I want you to carry with you is not just that you're doing this to help the kids and you're learning all these skills, but it's the relationship you're going to build with the people you're sitting next to, that you're in this class with. You're always going to be known as the people of whatever class number this is. And this is your group. And your group will move. Some of you won't continue. Some of you will have things happen that prevent you from continuing. But there's going to be some of you that I won't be here, but maybe 10 or 15 years from now, you'll be sitting in my spot talking to younger people that are coming here. This is a place where you pass it on, where you do it, you contribute, you establish things, you become part of it, and then as time goes on, the new group comes in and you pass on that too, and then it's your responsibility now as the new class to know that someday it's going to be your job to pass on the spirit, the friendship, all the wonderful things that are part of Pleasant Rita. So my very best wishes to you. I'm delighted that I had a chance to come back. It's been very exciting today to see and get lots of hugs and see all my friends. And yeah, I regret that I got old and I couldn't come anymore. But it was, yes, Jim.
Were you here for the 71 dedication of this building when it was new?
You know why I wasn't here?
No.
I was working. But I remember when it occurred.
Well, we do have two people here who were there for the dedication.
I was here.
Shirley, and my wife Diane.
The big, so you have, and these are two people that are very dear to me, that go back to the beginning, that were supportive when I first came. And we have a love for each other, and those people that were here when we first started, you build those relationships. And where you're sitting right now, look around, and I'm sure that already you picked somebody out of this group that you already kind of feel good about and look forward to seeing the next time you come. And, you know, and that's okay. That's the most important part, because if you feel happy, if you feel that you're being supported and the person that you are, you're going to pass that on to other people that you're going to be helping. This is a wonderful place, and I assure you, at the age that I am and in a wheelchair, that I wouldn't be here if I didn't love this place. And I know that I'm looking at two people in the back that were there when I first came, and another one over here, and I know that they're here today still. They're able to physically be here, and I know that they're here because they love this place as much as I do. Am I right?
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, the two sitting in the back over there. Could I answer any questions for you? Or do you know everything? So thank you for being here, and my very, very best wishes. And it's okay to enjoy yourself. Have fun and make a friend or two or three. And when they do special things, like what comes up next? Something.
Open house.
Open house.
Yeah. We're gonna bring Shirley
Be
back.
part of open house. Even though you're new, find a spot for yourself where you can contribute. And let the public see what a wonderful place it is to come and bring their kids.